Meh, meh. That's my expert analysis about the Celtics win over the Knicks tonight is meh. I said this before. They're not going to fool me. Getting a win in this season is it's just not that inspiring when they've done it. They haven't been able to string them together. And in the disaster of a game that was last night against the 76ers, you saw what the Celtics are compared to a really good team. And tonight, you saw what the Celtics are compared to a mediocre to bad team, which is about the same level. The Knicks hit a three at the end to make it a 2-point finish. But so we'll just say the Celtics won by 5, even though they technically won by 2, 101-99. It's just like I said, I don't know how you can get excited about this type of a win. It was an ugly game, first of all. It was a low scoring game, and it was a high turnover game with some ugly basketball fouling. So it wasn't the most aesthetically pleasing game, which that doesn't bother me. I like that sort of 90s throwback physical style from time to time. It's just that you look at the two rosters and you see, okay, the Celtics have, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and they didn't have Kemba Walker tonight, but uh, you have two young all-stars, and then you look at the Knicks and you see that they have, Julius Randle, who's a good player, but certainly doesn't have the ceiling that you would think Brown or Tatum does. And yet they're in the same spot in the Eastern Conference. And you played them pretty much dead even, and it's not like the Celtics played that bad, or the Knicks played that bad, or the Celtics played that well, or the Knicks played that well. It's just these teams are close, and that's the discouraging part about it, right? Is that why should they be? The Knicks have been terrible for a long time. The Celtics have been in the Eastern Conference Finals 3 of the past 4 years. The Knicks haven't really hit on their draft picks all that well. Their free agency hasn't gone the way they wanted it to be. And you're the Celtics, and you think, okay, well, we hit on Tatum, we hit on Brown, we've won these trades, X, Y, and Z, and now here you are in 2021, and the teams are basically at the same level. And I know I keep repeating myself, but it's like hard to believe. You have to say it multiple times to actually for it to sort of get through, because how did this happen? Why did this happen? And I just had a long thread on social media, on Twitter, about how there's all these people who are, in the Boston sports media who are just too toxic about the Celtics team and saying, cut it down to its bare bones, trade Tatum, trade Brown, fire everybody. And then there's people on the other side saying this team is fine. It's just a weird blip down year because of COVID. Keep Ainge, keep Stevens, keep the core. This is a core that can win a championship. Tatum can win an MVP. And both sides are equally wrong. And that's the frustrating part, is that each side is accusing the other of being too one way, when really they're both too far off in the distance, like our politics right now, right? It's that you can't come to an agreement on what's the actual truth unless you're me, because I'm telling you exactly how it is, which is that the Celtics aren't very good this season. They don't need to. That doesn't mean Jason Tatum sucks and they need to trade him and start from scratch. But it also doesn't mean that you should run it back and not try to get rid of the head coach or the GM. Those two things aren't mutually exclusive. They can both be true in the same space, that the team needs to make changes, but the team isn't in such bad shape that they need to spend the next 5, 6, 7 years rebuilding from absolute scratch. So there's just too much of that, too much polarization in terms of how people in the media are covering the Celtics right now, when really the middle ground is the truth, is that it's a mediocre team that needs changes and could be a lot better with the right changes. That's the truth. But right now, they're a lot closer to what the Knicks are than what the Sixers are. That's just a fact. That's watch the season, watch how the teams play, watch how they play against each other, and that's the truth. So we'll get into the box score here. Leonard Kim, I see you in the chat. As always, very, very loyal fan. Leonard saying you're watching this in the World Girls. I know I'm going up against my sister in her live stream right now. That's fine. A little healthy competition never hurt anybody. You said also a Celtics-Knicks matchup would be competitive, which tells us all we needed to know about the Celtics fall from grace. Yeah, which is what I'm saying. Exactly. And it'd be a fun series. It's not a playoff series because they could play for the play-in spot, but they're not going to match up in a series because they're too bunched together at the bottom of that Eastern Conference bracket. But yeah, that does tell you all you need to know is that the Celtics and the Knicks, it would be a really fun competitive series in a 7-game series. I don't know who would win. Whoever had home court, probably. But we'll get into the box score right now before we wrap up, as we always do. Again, the final score 101-99. Celtics win it at home. They move to 500 now, 26-26. The Knicks fall 2 games below 500, 25-27. They have now, each team has won 1 game apiece in this series. The last game of the year will be the tiebreaker. Their third game, the Celtics and the Knicks' last game of the season is against each other, and that could be really meaningful. So for the Celtics, their starters tonight, Kemba Walker was Jason Tatum, who played 42 minutes tonight. You don't want Jason Tatum to have to play 42 minutes. Robert Williams, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, and Romeo Langford getting his first start. A bit of a surprise, but with no Kemba Walker and no Evan Fournier because of COVID reasons, you were a little bit shorthanded. So Langford gets the start in just his third game back this season. Tatum finishes with 25 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and he shot 10 of 21 from the floor, 3 of 9 from 3. Those all look good until you get to the turnover mark, which he had 8. That's right, 8 turnovers for Jason Tatum. Almost had a triple-double with turnovers. Never the triple-double you want. It's an absurdly high number of turnovers. That's the Celtics as a team at 17, which is on the high side. It's not, bonkers, still not great. But 8 for Tatum that's unacceptable. For your star player to have 8 turnovers in a game, unacceptable. It's amazing the Celtics won with that sort of stuff. So, yeah, 25 points looks good. 5 assists looks good. 10 rebounds look good. The shooting was solid, but the 8 turnovers is a killer. And yet they won. Robert Williams played okay, not great today. He's had 25 minutes, 3 of 7 from the floor, which is a bad shooting night for his standards. 10 rebounds, which is nice. The rebounding continues to be consistent in double digits. And 6 points for Robert Williams, 2 blocks. Marcus Smart hit a huge 3 at the end of the game, as he sometimes does. Sometimes he, is maddening, but tonight he was on and hit that big 3, which basically carried the Celtics home. 17 points for him, 9 assists, 4 rebounds, 4 of 11 from the floor, 3 of 6 from 3, including that big 3 at the end. And Marcus Smart, good game tonight. You got a good game from Marcus, and when that happens, the Celtics have a better chance of winning. Jaylen Brown was the best player in the court tonight. He led the way in scoring with 32 points. He had 10 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals and a block. Also, he was 5 of 13 from 3, 12 of 26 from the floor. So good shooting night for him. But then you go to the free throw line where he was 3 of 7. Jaylen Brown needs to be a better free throw shooter, a more consistent free throw shooter, I should say. He should be in the mid to high 80s and not have nights where he goes 3 of 7 from the free throw line. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure what he's shooting from the free throw line this year. I can look it up, but it's going to take me a second. So I'm going to just stall looking at a picture of Jaylen Brown. Yeah, he's 24 years old. We know this. Let's go into his stats. This is fun for everybody. What he's shooting this year from the free throw line, Jaylen Brown, 75.9%. So 76% for Jaylen Brown. Needs to be in the low to mid 80s. That's where he should be. So still too low for Jaylen Brown from the free throw line. But he did have a good night the rest of the way, 32 points. So take the free throws out of it. He had a good night. And again, the Celtics, I'm talking about this like they lost. They did win the game. We'll go to Romeo Langford, the last starter tonight, 25 minutes, 6 points for him. Solid defense, 6 rebounds, 2 of 5 from the floor, 2 of 3 from 3, which is encouraging that he has developed. It looks like maybe a little 3-point shot. He hit one the other night. That would be really good. The bench, not too much off the bench. What else is new? Semi Ojeleye, 13 minutes, 6 points. Grant Williams, 25 minutes, no points. That's not surprising. The minutes or the lack of points. Great job to continue to play him by the Celtics. Tristan Thompson makes his return, 22 minutes, 8 rebounds, 7 points. Good game from Tristan. Nice to see him back. And Peyton Pritchard, not great tonight. 16 minutes, 1 of 4 from the floor, 0 of 3 from 3 for 2 points. And yeah, Celtics 101-99 win. 101-91 uninspiring win. But a win is a win. Brandy, I see you in there. Allie Gallagher, Allie G, my homegirl. I love Allie G. We go way back. And I told her about the show, and now she's watching. That's a good friend. That's a legitimate ride or die friend right there, who's also a massive Celtics fan and also massively disappointed with the team, but apparently she loves Romeo Langford. Maybe Romeo Langford's the savior of the Celtics. They are undefeated in games that he starts. I've never lost. That's a fact. 1-0. So Celtics, again, get the win. I know it doesn't sound like they won. I know I'm talking about it like they lost by 1 million to the Knicks, but really it's just like, why is it at this point? Why should I have to watch a team that's close in terms of ceiling to the Knicks? It's a bummer. But that's the way it is. We got an interesting team coming up on Friday. Timberwolves are in town. Get to see Anthony Edwards, the number 1 pick in this last draft, who I really like to play. A very fun player. Karl-Anthony Towns, hopefully a future Celtic. You never know. That'd be a good game to showcase Aaron Nesmith and Romeo Langford and Grant Williams. I hope they all have great games against the Timberwolves. Like, play out of their minds. That's what I would like to see happen. And that's a game that, again, the Celtics should win that one. But can you really bank on that at this point? You can't. Again, reminding you, the Celtics did win tonight. I'm just in a piss mood about where they are in life. It's more of a depression thing, but well, I'll deal with it. I'm here for you. Thanks everybody for watching. Remember to give me a subscription, a thumbs up, comment. I'll always comment back. And yeah, I'll see you after the Timberwolves game. Thanks everybody. See ya.